Just 1 hour ago, Axie Infinity has dropped Origin cards. This time it's the eyes, and with these cards we now have a final complete set of cards that will be released on Origin. So we already have the ears and all the rest of it, we're missing eyes, and finally we get to see them. So to start off, we have plant eyes. Now the most popular ones are probably Pappy and Confusion. We're gonna have to see and look through the marketplace to see which ones are the most popular, because people were really not paying attention when it comes to eyes. It was all about getting the plants if you wanted the health, and a bird as well as aqua if you wanted the speed. So like bug or a beast eyes might be very, very rare. So the first one that we see is just really simple. Pappy, 45 healing, 1 energy cost, and you can target any ally, and whenever this is drawn you heal for 20 health. So putting that at the back lane might be something useful when you have banish cards. So once those cards disappear, you keep drawing Pappy and you can keep healing up. Something that might be a little bit annoying in the later stages of the game if there's no anti-healing mechanic. Now we also have the Confusion for 1 energy. This one deals damage and it shuffles 1 confused into your opponent's discard pile. So again, stuffing your opponent's discard pile might be a deck that could be useful if they don't have any way to deal with it, like the discards. Now 2 energy cost Cucumber Slice. You heal your team and you apply 5 healing boost. Now we're not sure what healing boost might be. I expect it to be just an increase of healing. So let's say you use Cucumber Slice and then you draw Pappy, maybe you're gonna heal for 25 or 30 rather than 20 as it says, but it is a 2 energy cost, so that's very hard to balance through if you don't have any 0 costs on your plants or any other axes, especially if you don't have any energy gainers. That will be difficult to play, and especially if you draw it at the start, it might not be very useful because you heal your whole team. So dealing versus AoE teams, if those become the meta, then Cucumber Slice can obviously be the counter, but optimally that might not be a very useful card. At first, the 0 cost that we see is the Blossom. You put 1 plant card from your draw pile into your heart, and the first 0 cost that we see is Blossom, and that puts 1 plant card from your draw pile into your hand. And I think we will see this type of card, this 0 cost, for every single class just to make it balanced. Now moving on to Reptiles, looks like we're gonna have plenty of healing cards, so getting some anti-heals, getting something that can finish those Axies off will be very crucial. First of all, we got Gecko, a 0 cost card with 25 healing, and the art looks very, very good on that one. Very desperate reptile to eat that tail. This Axie loses 50 health and you heal and cleanse 1 debuff on other allies, so kind of like a sacrificial card that you play. Then you got Tricky, 1 energy cost, 50 heal, and if it's initial you swap this card with 1 selected card in your banish pile. Wow, so banish pile will be a thing. So let's say you play something like the Blossom on another Axie that has banished, maybe something like the Nemo or the Cottontail. Those will be very interesting to pair up with Tricky. Then you see Scar, you put 1 reptile card from your draw pile into your hand and then it banishes. So you can see the similarity between this eye as well as the Blossom. Topaz, deal 10 bonus damage per your banished card. So again, very interesting one. We'll see whether a banish deck might be something useful, because if you keep banishing the cards, there's more of a chance that you draw a Topaz, and if you banish a lot of cards, then you're obviously gonna deal more damage. So maybe 25 is a little bit too low. We'll see how many banish cards you can actually pull off in an efficient team, but it could be something worth exploring. Now the beast cards that we have, yet another set of banishes. Zeal as a 0 cost, doesn't deal any damage, doesn't heal, doesn't have shield. You put 1 beast card from your draw pile into your hand, so exactly the same as we have seen before, and it banishes. Then you can apply vulnerable for 4 turns if you have little P's, and it deals 60 damage. So very, very bog standard card, just 1 attack and some debuff as well. Poppy is a very rare one, so you put 1 beast card from your discard pile into your hand and then you banish. So same exact thing as Zeal, maybe they didn't have an idea for it. And then Chubby is a 2 energy cost that deals 50 damage and it attacks all enemies, so 150 damage effectively. Now that can be very, very interesting to play, especially if you play something like the Poppy or Zeal on another Axie, and you can actually draw Chubby on the first couple of turns, which will help you to gain and maximize the efficiency of this card. 250 damage effectively is a large number. The previous 2 cost cards that we have seen used to deal about 110, 120 depending on the card. Now moving over to the bugs, we see yet another set of 0 zero cost cards, and they probably are the same as we have seen. So it puts a bug card into your hand and then banishes. And Nerdy is the one that I want to point out, because I think it's very interesting that you can discard up to 2 cards and then draw that many. So if you run into a dry top deck, now you're not happy with your draw, you can change that using Nerdy, and that banishes. Then you can look at Neo, look at the top 4 cards of your opponent's draw pile, so you can prepare for the next round coming. That card can be useful if you know what you are doing, and if you know what your opponent is looking for to play in the next round. So definitely something that is worth exploring, but it does cost 1 energy and it doesn't deal any damage, or it doesn't have any shield. So whether that's going to be useful enough, we will have to find out. Kotaro, attack 1 random enemy and apply death mark for 4 turns. Interesting. I'm not a big fan of the random attacks, especially in a card game like this where you spend time building a team, building a strategy, and then it all comes down to RNG. So I'm not a big fan of this one, but maybe someone can pull it off. And then Aquatics, Sleepless, shuffle 1 days into your opponent's discard pile. So just a very simple debuff, 60 damage. They had to come up with something. Clear, I think, is the popular one. And you can discard up to 2 cards and draw that many, so exactly the same thing as we have seen with Nerdy. Gero is apply fragile for 4 turns, 1 attack, 60 attack, 1 energy. And Telescope puts 1 aquatic cards from your draw pile into your hand. So those 0 cost cards on the ice will be very helpful to remain energy efficient, especially if you have already got some 2 energy costs on your other parts, so you have to check those through. Mavis is a bird card that deals 0 damage. It doesn't have any shield, it costs 1 energy, but it does summon 1 Mavis. When it comes to the summons, we don't really know what they're gonna do yet. I believe they will have some sort of HP and they will attack at the end of the turn. Might make sense to have that. And then Lucas, put 1 bird card from your draw pile into your hand. So same mechanics as we have seen for every single class. Little Owl, all Little Owls cards of this Axie gain 6 damage this battle. So we have to see how many Little Owls you can actually pull off on a bird or on any other Axie. Same with the Nutcracks, maybe just going for a rush deck, increasing the damage, playing some banishes that give you energy, and then going for as much brute force as you can. Maybe that will be the way forward, right? Just playing Little Owls and playing Nutcracks on another Axie, and that's something that you can do. Robin, you summon a Little Robin, so 2 summons on the eyes of a bird. Interesting to see that. Now, one more thing that I want to point out is how you can check your Axies for Origin. And if you just go into the Axie Infinity Marketplace, what you want to do is just select any Axie that you see and you copy the ID. Once you have that ID copied, you want to head over to this website, and this is the name of the website: axie-origin-craft.ossm.space. Now, this is not a verified website by me. It's just a website that we have found that works for Origin cards. So if you just load up this Axie, it will show you exactly what kind of cards it has. So it has the Sandal for the Origin, it has the Hare, it has the Babylonia, the Little Owl, and those take a little while to load because the website might be overwhelmed with the users, but it also has the eyes and the ears. If you just click on them, they should show up. Sometimes it does take a second for that to happen, but you can just check your team, whether your team is going to be good enough for Origin. Obviously, don't take this as the final version of these cards. All of these cards are still speculations. They might get adjusted, they might get nerfed, so make sure you don't spend your own money on building Origin teams, because we still don't know what will happen, especially with runes and charms coming. Those runes and charms will play a significant role when it comes to Axie Origin, so just don't take this as any financial advice, but it's just worth checking out what you will have in the next version, next iteration of this game. And the last thing that I wanted to point to when it comes to Axie Infinity and the marketplace is the eyes and the ears for other Axies, right? So if you go into not for sale, we have the maximum amount of Axies, which is around 12 million right now. And if you go to the parts, you can filter for eyes as well as ears, right? So the most common ones will be something like the curly for birds, or something from the aqua like the Gero. So if you go into Gero, which we have seen in the eyes section today, you see that the 600,000 Axies that have Gero. But if you look at the eyes of, let's say, bug, let's go for bookworm. Let's see how many those pop up. So there's only 151,000 Axies. So you can see why when there's no rock paper scissors mechanic in Axie Origin, why these cards might be necessary and useful, and how the breeding can actually increase when it comes to Origin, because there's simply not that many of these Axies available. Same thing happens for, let's say, Kotaro. Let's see how many Kotaros have we got. There's only 134,000. If we look at Neo, there's another one, or Nerdy. Let's see how many we got. 177,000. But if you pair that up with an ear of a bug, so there's just eyes and ears of a bug, right? Nothing else. Only 4,000 Axies, you know? So it's very interesting to filter through the marketplace, see what kind of Axies are quite rare and whether they will be useful for Origin. That might be your task, your preparation when it comes to Origin. But that will be it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you let me know by leaving a thumbs up under this video. Also, let me know what do you think of the eye cards. I think the ones that let you draw a specific amount of card, or for the Axie class that you are running, those zero cost will be crucial to remain energy efficient. And lastly, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more play to earn content, and I will see you in the next one.